I think I'm guilty of just giving too much to the point where, like, when I finally do cut it off, I'm an asshole.
Correct.
And so I just, like you said, I blur the boundaries because it's like, even if you're no longer a paying client or you've already kind of hit your deliverables for the month, we'll say, and you still need me, I'll give you the hour, the 2 hours, the legal work, the come to your house, whatever. And then all of a sudden I'm like, man, I'm losing again. So I have my own acronym for teams because I notice you have an acronym for teams that is kind of specific to building your team, like business-wise, right?
Yes.
So our acronym is managing your team, which is your time, energy, attention, and mindset. So when I saw you had an acronym for teams, I was like, heck yeah, dude. I don't remember yours off the top of my head. I know empathy's in there, which is huge.
Yep.
Trust.
Yep.
Okay. Give me let's go through them. Trust, empathy.
A.
I don't know. It has to be authentic. Okay.
Authenticity. Yep.
And
Meaning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So walk us through how you developed this and how it's affecting your business and others.
Yeah. So it's interesting how we came up with it. Is I was actually crafting my keynote that I did at RoofCon a couple of years ago, and I was working with my coach on it, and I was building it out, and I was like, okay, what are the things that I actually do? And I was like, okay, well, people trust me, right? And I was having these conversations about how important I thought empathy was. And then I was like, well, obviously I believe in being authentic. And then my coach was sitting there and he goes, we need one more. And I'm like, we do? And he's like, yeah, meaning. And I'm like, okay, I love that, but why meaning? And he's like, well, because then you have an M and it makes team. I was like, you fucker. I'm like, okay. But the point of it is that the whole base of everything that we do is centered around that pillar of trust, right? And to be able to get people to trust us, like truly trust us and believe in us.
When you say us real quick, what do you mean? Is that
us as leaders?
Okay.
Right. Us as leaders, whether it's a leader in your family or a leader in your business, right? You want your wife to trust you, right? You want your kids to trust you, and you want your employees and the people that follow you to trust you as well, right? Or at least to believe in you, right? So to get people to believe in you and trust you, what are some of the steps that we can take to be able to make that happen? Right. So the first one was empathy, because I think that as polarized as this country is today, nobody actually talks about empathy because we want to be right so bad. We want everybody to think that we're the smartest guy in the room and that my way is the only way to solve any problem. Right. I have my belief system. I have my belief structure. There are certain things that I believe in, right, in how to do things. I also am aware of the fact that you might believe something different. That doesn't make you a horrible human. It makes you a human that believes in something different. I, as a person, am genuinely interested in what you believe in and why. I'd love to see it from your lens. It does not mean it's going to change my mind, nor am I trying to change your mind.
Do you think people are scared of that it could possibly, or they just have no tolerance for another person's view?
I think they have no tolerance for other people's view.
And this kind of goes to your shut the fuck up and listen, is the reason that they're not listening is they don't really care about your opinion or your belief. They already know where they're going.
Yes.
They want to steamroll you.
Yes.
They want to get their point across. Cognitive bias, confirmation bias, I should say, right?
Yeah.
It's like, look, this is just, I'd rather be right than actually learn something and grow from this conversation.
Correct. And maybe they are a little afraid, right? To your point, that maybe, like they'll learn something that they didn't know, like you're going to talk them into being gay or something.
If you challenge someone's core belief, that's got to be an uncomfortable feeling. And so it's like.
Yeah. And so in the book, I would have published this 2 months prior. And I had 2 paragraphs in there that I had to work on and decide how I wanted it to go out. And I had to decide because I spoke about organized religion in it, right? And I was like, fuck, I totally am okay with pushing away the people that I don't want in my sphere.
Sure.
And attracting the people that need to be attracted to my sphere, right? But I also don't want to push people away because they can't read context. And there's a lot of people that just can't read context because of that confirmation bias, right? Or they think that I'm talking like directly to them. And there was 2 paragraphs in there where I was making an example of the empathy side, because I did a solo episode of my podcast that was called I Don't Care About Your Religion. Okay?
Yeah.
Because I fucking don't. You know what I care about? You. I care about you as a human. I give zero fucks who you pray to. I do not care if you get down on your knees and face to the east, and I don't care if you go to a church where they diddle fucking kids. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no difference to me. But the flip side sometimes is that those people judge me because I don't care. And that sucks, like, a lot.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest beliefs that you can't push back on, and you're not pushing back
And
on
I'm
it.
not
but,
pushing back.
But they're so blinded by, again, their faith that everything may feel like an attack. Because they can't understand context, especially in the world of organized religion.
But it's not. And it's,
exactly.
I could tell that you could see it as we were talking, that it's not an attack on anything. It's I want you to have what you need to have to be okay in your life, and the thing that makes you be able to go, right? And have hope and have faith and believe in something. We all need that, right? Me going to Alcoholics Anonymous is what saved me, because they gave me permission to believe in my own higher power, and that I didn't have to believe in yours, and I didn't have to believe in Muhammad's, and I didn't have to believe in that guy's, and right? I didn't have to pick one.
To your point, because we have these 4 pillars: faith, family, fitness, and finance, and I am probably identical in that belief that you just spoke of, where we've got guys in our group. I had a guy we were taking through a very difficult evolution where they have to crawl for about 3 hours, army crawl. And at some point he started like speaking in Arabic and like praying in it, and he's a Muslim guy, right, already. And I remember one of my coaches having a hard time with that. And to me, it was interesting because like he's been a member for a year and a half now. He's just a great human being.
Yeah.
And I don't care. And by the way, during these events, we're very particular on taking your phones, and we're creating experiences. But he had asked prior on certain hours he needs to leave and he needs to go exactly what you said, get on his knees and pray. And I'm totally okay with that. And sometimes I get pushback because I would say 90% of our member base is some form of Christian, right?
Yeah.
And that's okay too. But I refuse to, like, to your point, say like it's Christians only. And I have people ask me, is it a faith-based movement because you put faith first? I'm like, it's faith in something bigger than you.
Right.
It's faith in whatever gets you up and gets you moving.
Right.
It's some people it's Buddha, some people it's Allah, some people it's Jesus, some people it's just the universe and energy and frequencies.
Yeah.
That's okay too.
Yeah.
But see,
But is it?
But
okay?
I've been told several times you got to pick a horse, like you got to rant, and I'm like,
no, go
you
fuck
don't.
yourself.
Yeah.
No, you do not.
Yeah.
That's garbage.
Yep.
That's absolute garbage. And so in there, I was explaining that episode. Oh, did it do it again?
Dude, I'm like, you're good. You can keep talking. I'm
No,
figure out
that's
why.
all right.
That just changed the
Oh,
backgrounds.
that's been doing it the whole time when you hit the button. When you hit the button, it started going back and forth. Just since you like hit it for over here. I thought you were trying to do that, so it would do that.
I don't even know how I was doing that. Yeah, how do I get that one off the screen? Should just be that one.
I think you hit play instead of pause.
I didn't know there's a play button. Wow, look at that. Okay, well, so we should be here now. It's on pause. Dude, this has been the biggest clusterfuck of all time.
It's only fitting since I'm here.
Yeah, that's what I thought I had for my live event.
Yeah,
that background.
yeah,
All right, cool.
I will finish that thought though.
Yeah.
And the thought being is that it makes me sad in the fact that you did have somebody that made them feel uncomfortable. Yeah. Like that makes me sad for them, because the shit that they're missing out on as far as humans go, like why would it bother you at all if somebody believes in something else? It's not like it lessens your
what is it doing?
belief.
How is it impacting your life right now?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. It is not disserving you in any way. So I've just never been able to wrap my head around that. And I was a little, if you know me, I got a little aggressive at first in my language towards it. Yeah. I think at some point I might have even wrote, if you think that's okay, you can go fuck yourself.
So is this is this why you wrestled with it for 2 months?
I did
paragraphs?
because I didn't want people to read it out of context and then put the rest of the book down because of those 2 paragraphs. The essence of what I was saying is still in there. I just reworked it numerous times so that I felt okay putting it out, so that people hopefully can't misinterpret it and can't.
That's probably a fine line for you though, because you are, the way I've known you is you are. I don't know if aggressive is the right word, but you're passionate about what you believe in, and if it offends the whole room, but one guy it landed on, then it's cool. But I get what you're saying. Like if it's halfway through the book and they put down my book, I kind of blew my whole intention here.
Correct.
So I can see that. That was probably tough to wrestle with.
Really, really, really.
Because am I being 100% authentic if I pull my version of how I want to say this?
Right. But just because I want to say it a certain way doesn't mean it's the right way to say it too. And I'm self-aware enough to know that sometimes, like if I want my message to actually land, I do need to figure out how to make sure that it does.
Okay, so we're still in the world of, if we go back to the teams analogy, we're still in the world of empathy, right?
Yeah. So first step of trying to build trust, right, is being empathetic with people to help them so that they can believe that you truly actually care about them as a person and where they're coming from. Have
you ever been called? I think I know you well enough to answer this myself, but have you ever been called an empath? Do you feel like you're a natural empath?
What do you mean?
Okay, so then you haven't been called this.
No.
I know I am.
Okay.
I could usually point them out, and that's why I think I can. You not only have the desire to understand people versus judge them. That's step one.
Yeah.
Like you genuinely want to know where this person's coming from and not only what they believe, but why they believe what they believe. But at the same time, never ever putting a lens of judging them for what they believe. That's rare in itself. The next phase is, do you feel what other people are feeling? Do you catch yourself absorbing emotions from other people?
Sometimes.
I think you do.
Yes, sometimes.
Because that can be very draining. It's a tough, and I think that's something we're born with or you're gifted with. I think it's a gift. I think it can be very damaging. So like when you did your one-to-one crazy retreat with your guy and you went through all that stuff, I would argue for him to be able to facilitate that, he must be some form of an empath as well. I could be way off on this, but where I'm going with this is where I think people misconstrue empathy is phase one. Do you truly are you curious? It's having a curious mentality. Like I genuinely want to know something about this dude. Mm-hmm. And then I genuinely give a shit about this dude. And I want to be able to emote that some way, whether it's shut the fuck up and listen, whether it's, like you said, don't have this like ready, to go canned thing I'm going to say when he's done. So I sound cool. I'm going to actually respond to the things that came out of his mouth. So he knows I'm actively listening. But at the same time, I think one thing you do well, the way you carry yourself, at least my experience of you, is you carry an energy that typically corresponds with either what that person is putting out or what they need in that moment. And I think that's a superpower in itself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've definitely worked on, right? I don't think I was always that great at it. But then I always revert back to how I was such a piece of shit when I fucking drank and did drugs and all that, right? Yeah. So like it's hard to correlate those two worlds. Right, because there's like a line in the sand when I became a different human, like literally. Like I know other people, religion wise are born again and all these, different terminologies. But like when I got clean, I did kind of have this like spiritual awakening, type moment.
How many years ago? We have to touch on this a little bit because you keep talking about it and the audience is going to wonder.
Sorry.
No, not at all. But like what was your vice of choice? How long were you there? And when was this quote unquote awakening or pivot?
So I drank all the time. I drank every day.
What was your alcohol of choice? Hard alcohol or beers?
It depended on how. I usually would start and think that I was going to be social and have a beer, and then it was like, well, this is stupid. I need to get fucked up, and so then I went straight to hard.
Okay.
I finished at the end of my drinking career. I was Scotch because I also sold Coke. And so I'd sell Coke to like food and beverage directors at country clubs. And then they'd go steal cases of Johnny Blue so I could have Johnny Blue and I'd give them like $100.
So it took me a while to catch on there because you're like, I did Scotch because it's the man's drink and I also sold Coke. I was like, so you sold cocaine? And so you thought you had to sip it. So you sold Coke.
Yeah.
As in like rum and Coke.
No, I sold cocaine.
Okay, so you lost me there because you said.
Sorry.
Because this is the weird part of the story. Yeah. When I sold Coke. And then you said to food and beverage guys, so I'm like, okay, so he sells Coke and then not bougie Scotch, but you could do like a Makers and Coke or a Johnny and Coke.
No.
Holy shit. Okay, so I was accurate in my first assessment.
Yeah, I sold cocaine.
All right, cool. Yeah, the story gets better.
Sold cocaine for a couple of years. Okay. I paid retail for cocaine once, and I was like, that's fucking expensive.
That's a horrible idea.
I was like, could I buy a bunch of it and like sell it to my friends? And they're like, sure you can. So I started buying ounces then at that point. And not like I wasn't,
Yeah, massive Coke dealer.
No,
but enough to support your habit.
In theory, yes. But then at the end, it was like, man, I'm still buying a lot of coke, and I wasn't making a bunch of money. But I wasn't probably losing a lot of money either.
Sure.
But I was divorced twice, and it was after my second divorce when I always drank, and it was always a problem. And my first wife left me because of my drinking. My second wife left me because of my drinking. And after my second divorce, I went off the deep end. And that was when I was like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't care about anything. All I'm going to do is drink, party, fuck, like whatever, and then start selling drugs. And I figured I didn't know how much time I had left. I wasn't actively trying to kill myself or anything like that.
Yeah, but caution to the wind
I
as
just
much as possible.
didn't care at all anymore.
Reckless.
Just didn't care. And then I got popped with my fourth offense DUI, and I had all kinds of cocaine in my truck and in my pockets, and I accidentally sold all the coke. I didn't even know that I did, and I still had 2 8-balls in my pocket when they booked me, and I got the guy to let me take a piss, and I was able to flush it before they entered me in and got me undressed, so I didn't get charged with any of the coke. Otherwise, I'd probably still be in prison. And I got that felony DUI charge, and I ended up going to rehab. My lawyer, who I sold coke to, my lawyer told me, he's like, look, you're looking at 1 to 5 in prison, or you could go to rehab and maybe they'll take it easier on you. And I was like, well, I can do math. Like, I'll go do 30 days with no intention of getting clean. And I was in rehab for about a week and a half, and the fog kind of lifted after a week and a half, and I was in a lecture hall listening to somebody speak, and it was dead quiet except the person speaking. And I looked around the room, just like you got stuff on the walls. I would see like a cup and a plate, and that was the stuff you got if you went to a certain number of meetings, whatever. And I was just looking around, and out loud, I just went, "Holy shit, I'm in rehab."
Okay. So officially fog lifted right there at the moment.
And everybody looked at me like, what's wrong with this crazy fucker?
No, that's got to be semi-normal in that room. You know what I mean?
Not while I was there, at least. Let's put it that way. But I had this moment of realization of like, normal people don't go to rehab. Right? Like,
when did I become not normal?
Like, I wouldn't be here if I didn't have a problem. Maybe I should shut the fuck up and listen to what the people are saying instead of coming in here and being like, I've got my own plan. I've got the things I'm going to do. If I knew what the fuck I was doing, I wouldn't be sitting in a rehab. Right?
You're able to process that in your own head?
Yeah.
At that time? Yeah, because that's not like.
Yeah.
Is this a one and done story with rehab? Did rehab actually do it for you?
So I went to rehab for 30 days. I got out. I stayed sober for 14 days.
Okay.
I found out that my ex was fucking somebody, and so I used that as an excuse to go to the bar with a friend with no intention, in quotes, of drinking. And within an hour, we went down to my old stomping ground, ordered a vodka 7. Within an hour and a half, I had coke delivered to the bar, and we had a party at my house for after hours till about 4 a.m. And I woke up at 2:00 the next day, and I swear to God, this actually happened. I went upstairs and I looked in the mirror and I said, "What the fuck did you just do?" Out loud, like a lunatic, talking to the mirror. And I was like, clearly you can't handle this shit. And then that was it, and I was done, and I never smoked or I never drank.
So it was a one and done.
Yeah. It was one and done rehab.
You relapsed, and then self-rehab.
Once.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's still super, super, super uncommon.
Yeah, most people do go to rehab like 6 or 8 times,
Yeah.
it seems like. Yeah, but I got to go to rehab once. That was enough.
Got to.
Yeah.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny you have that moment because I think maybe I've talked about it in your podcast, but I have my man in the mirror moment where I literally looked at myself, and I don't know if I said anything out loud, but the internal talk track was heavy, and I started crying, and it felt like 3 hours. It could have been 3 minutes, but I just was like, I don't like this dude, and who is this dude, and how did this dude get here? Like, how do we get so far away from our core values? Like, look at the way you're showing up in this world, and that's what started my journey to go and do all my stuff. So I think that man, and we actually have an evolution we take our men through called Man in the Mirror, because most men, it's crazy. They can't look at themselves for too long in the mirror without that talk track. Really, it usually causes enough discomfort that they have to look away.
Yeah,
it's very common, like more common than I thought it was until I started putting men through it, and it's very, very revealing, But so how long ago was that moment, give or take? How many years?
15 and a half years.
Okay.
So I've been clean for 15. I went to rehab in November of 09, and then the relapse was on January 2nd, and then my sobriety date is January 4th, 2010.
Nice.
So 15 and a half years right now. And we were doing a podcast this morning with Taylor and some other guys at the Bold Claims deal, and we got on this subject. And it's interesting how time passes when you realize that your sobriety isn't for you anymore, and you realize that your sobriety is for other people. It's not about me staying sober for me. It's about me staying sober for all these other people so that they can get clean. And then when you have that realization, now you went to a next level.
Yeah, that's a different reason to do it. Taylor and I had an interesting conversation around the AA concept that you have to stand up and say, my name's Eric, I'm an alcoholic, and what that does to you. Because I'm a subconscious. That's my jam, right? And to me, it's like, and then the counting. Like, why are you counting? Because if you're counting, is it your? Because the whole goal is this is your identity.
That motherfucker lied to me this morning.
Oh yeah, good.
You're the one that told him to stop counting.
Yeah.
And I said, did you have a coach fucking tell you to do that? And he's like, no, I came up. No, that was my idea. And I'm like, I don't fucking believe you. I go, that's something that a coach would tell you.
Yeah, I mean, that's my story.
That's hilarious. Okay, sorry. Go on. That fucker.
Yeah, so he went through a really powerful evolution with us. He's been around forever, and he's helped coach a lot of things. And then, interestingly enough, we have this really aggressive version of our live event called Protocol, and he coached it once, and he's like, I have to do this. I was like, are you sure? Because you just saw what these guys went through. He's like, I have to do it. So shout out to him, because most guys that coach it don't want to do it when you see how intense it is. And it was when he went through it as a member, and this was not too long ago, where he had a very, very powerful moment around, and he was right at his 3-year or so. Yeah, we filmed his podcast on his 3-year, so whatever that was recent. And that event was maybe day 300 or something. He was coming up on it. But yeah, it was like, so I guess where I was going with this is if they make you say that every time, then that's still part of your identity. And I understand the concept, the premise of theirs is you have to own that so you don't go back to it. But to me, it's like reinforcing an identity that you're trying to kill. You know what I mean?
I go back and forth with this with my coach.
Yeah.
Like all the time. And my problem is that I see both sides because I live in both worlds, right? I 1000% believe what you just said. I also believe that by me going into a room, and if I'm in an AA meeting and I say I'm Eric and I'm an alcoholic and there's a new guy in there, right? And if I were just to go in there and say I'm Eric and I'm not an alcoholic anymore, they're going to walk up and go, how long did that take? Right? And it's like, 3 years. And they're like, cool. So I just got to be good for 3 years and then I'm good. It's like, no, there's a journey involved and there's work that you have to do and blah, 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 blah. And then you can have this change, hopefully, like in who you are. Like there's this whole story that goes with it. And so I've gotten to a point now where I do believe what you're saying.
So there's equal power on both sides of this coin.
There really is.
Because the way you just described it, I went somewhere else in my head when you said it, was like, if that guy walks up and he sees the man that you are today, then he believes it's possible for him.
There's
even if he's an alcoholic. Exactly. I mean, even he has to say that. Even saying that sentence doesn't mean that it defines you. I guess if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. And so that's the hard part, because I don't want my selfishness of worrying about my identity to impact the other person who's trying to get to where I'm at. Right. So I fight with it.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I fucking fight with it like all the time because I want to move away from it. But at the same time, I don't want to leave the people that help me, because like everybody in that room before me helped me for free. Right. I showed up and they took me in and said, we're going to help you be okay. Right.
For the record, like I had a member named Steve Strite. He's up in Detroit, Michigan, and we ran an event up in Michigan. He's been a member for a year or so. And after we were up in his area doing it, he wanted to go out to lunch afterwards. And the entire 2 or 3 hours we sat there, he just compared my entire movement to AA, and I didn't realize. So then I started reading the whole book. Like, it's like, wow, like, because I've never, not that I'm cool. I never knew anything about it.
Every event that I go to,
you're like drawing corollaries.
I'm like, you guys just paid $35,000 to fucking go to an AA meeting. Like, that's step 4. That's fucking 8. That's 10. I'm like, you could just be a drunk and go to AA.
Yeah, he's like, bro, like what you're doing is like, it might as well be the 12 steps. You know what I mean? And I talk about the 12-step. I used to talk about it from stage a lot, and I'm sure you're aware of it. But like, it's the concept around help. What you said, helping another. That's another level when you wake up and say it's not about me anymore. It's about someone else, because the 12th step, and that's why they make you guys have sponsors. If I'm not correct, right?
Yep.
Or if I'm correct, is the likelihood of recidivism. So going back to alcohol, is like something like 90% until you get to the 12th step, which is basically sponsor another alcoholic. Because once you are responsible for another person not drinking, you know what I mean? That completely ups the ante for you never drinking again. And that's a very powerful concept. So we use that a lot in my group for we have a whole rule called take care of your brother. Because the minute it's not about you, the minute you shut the fuck up and listen, and the 2-hour convo or whatever it is, even if it's 15 minutes at a networking event, when it's not about you, you show up completely different. You know?
Think about it even from a coaching standpoint, right? Because you coach, you have to continuously keep investing in yourself. And then how much more do you learn while you're coaching than you realize?
100%.
Right? When you're coaching, you'll be having a conversation with a dude. I do this all the time, and I don't have as many clients as you do, right? But I've got a handful of guys that I work with and try and help, and we'll be on a call together. We'll be on a call, and they'll be like, well, I want to be able to do this, and I want to do this, and I want it to go this way. And I'm like, all right, let's talk it through. And like, we'll talk it through, and I'm like, well, why don't we go here, and then we do it this way, and then we move it this way. And I'm like,
and you'll catch yourself.
and I'm like, shit, that's a great idea. Like, I need to fucking do that. But like, we're always reinventing, and we're always learning new things because we're staying in something and helping other people with it, which is what helps us continue to grow. Because otherwise we would just be stagnant, right? Because why?
The worst is when my wife, because she works next to me in my basement sometimes, and she'll hear me on a call, and she's like, "Everything you just told that dude, like, why aren't you doing it?" Yeah, and I'm like, Because I'll have that exact moment. I'm like, holy shit, this is some genius shit. Where's it coming from? Because you're not doing, like, hold up a mirror, you know?
Yes.
But when I first started, though, to your point around like making it was more about me, it was so ego. Yeah. It was literally like, you're coming to me and paying me because I have the answers, so I'm just going to give you the answers because that's what you want, right? No. Like, someone put me up on a powerful book, and I might be stating it wrong. I'll have to get it from my audience, but I think it's The Power is in the Question. And it's this whole concept around just asking powerful questions and letting the client kind of, you know, paint the whole picture or take the path. And for my first 18, 19 months, maybe longer, I just remember having a moment of like, I was going back looking at my one-on-ones, trying to get better. And I was like, holy shit. I talk the most. I have all the answers. I sound cool on some shit. There's some cool mic drops, but like, you know, it's the whole teach a man to fish or catch the fish or whatever. So I'm just like, it was so about me because it felt good. It felt good to solve a guy's massive problem in 60 minutes on a Zoom.
You thought it was your keynote.
Oh man, I was like, this is amazing. I was like, and I would tell my wife, I'm so good at this. And it's just like, what the fuck is wrong?
I did the same fucking thing. And literally, like, almost every call that I'm on, if I'm on an hour call with somebody, I talk for 8 minutes.
That's good. That sounds better than me still. I'm not there yet.
I'm exaggerating.
No, but yeah, right? It took me a long time to realize.
It's because I learned that they don't really want to hear what you have to say. Like, they do. They want bits and pieces and whatever.
I get paid to hold up a mirror and a sounding board.
Yeah. And
I get paid, you know, if I tell them all the time, I was like, look, I'm just going to go ahead and reflect back because you'll solve. If I ask you the right questions, you'll.
Yes.
And that's my favorite moment now. It's not when I solve something, they go, thank you. When they go, holy shit.
Well, here's why.
Or they end the call early because they're like, I know what I need to do now. I got this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But they actually do it.
Correct.
That's the difference, because if you tell them to do it, they'll do it about 40% of the time.
Yep.
But if they go, I got an idea.
It's my idea, ownership.
I got you there, asshole. But yeah, you're good. I got you there. And then they actually go do it. Then you get to have that reward of,
they're actually watching them move the needle, develop, etc. Yeah.
It's
still like, you know, like anything you do, it's always a growth process. But when I look back at, and someone told me a long time ago, if you look back at your first website and you don't laugh, you spent too much time on it.
I look back at my first podcast.
Yeah. Well, So same thing. Like, I look back at my coaching, and it's like, I'm the man. People are paying me money, and I'm solving problems, bro. But then you start to kind of ask yourself, like, am I adding enough value? Because I'm holding space. I'm holding up a mirror. I'm asking questions that like lead them on a path to where they find the answer. So they take ownership and they execute. But I'm also just kind of like hanging out with them for an hour and holding, like, you know what I mean? Like, what is that worth now? Because I'm not giving them the strategy, the blueprint, the hack, the answer anymore.
Sometimes I don't think they need that though.
Yeah.
Right. Because I think sometimes, from what I've seen, is that I know that for me, like, I still pay my coach and meet with him once or twice a month. And I might have absolutely nothing to work through with him on. And we will just sit there and talk.
Have you ever solved a problem for him? Because that's where it gets weird. I've had people flip the script on me and suggest something. I'm like, whoa. This is going to mess up the boundaries here. You know what I mean?
Yes. We've become close enough that it's okay now right? Because I've been working with him for 5 years, I think.
Hold on. You're close enough now that you can do that, and you can even have calls where you don't really get in the weeds on something, but you still pay him.
Yep.
Now, I just want to make that important distinction, and maybe it's self-preservation at this point, but I've had an issue where you kind of blur the line. Like I had a client that paid me very well for a long time essentially say, I feel like I'm financing our friendship. And that stung because I'm like, dude, like we have a working relationship.
Right.
Are you calling me as a friend or as a client? Because there's two different versions of me. Sorry.
I have a client that I had to have that conversation with because we were actually friends prior to him becoming a client. And I had to have the conversation of, hey, man, you call me and ask me for an hour of my time. I go, you have to understand that I do this for a living as well. And I have no problem. Like if you need a 15-minute chat, you can call me anytime you want, right? And I am here for you if you need that because we're friends.
Sure.
If you want to get deep and really
block
dig
off
into
an
some
hour,
shit and block off an hour, here's my link, and this is how much it costs because you're taking time away from my business, my company,
How did they
and
receive
my
that?
daughter. Well, now I don't think everybody will.
So I've gotten to a point in my stage where I don't care how you receive it now. Because
Right.
if you don't receive it well, we probably shouldn't be hanging out together anyway. Because if you can't respect, I wouldn't go to your office and tell you to, put a roof on my house for $0 because we're homies.
Right.
Like a good friend, and this was a Hormozy thing I read the other day, was a good friend pays full price and leaves a review.
Right.
The end.
Yeah.
And everyone else is like trying to leverage. And I understand having relationship equity and stuff, but
The hard part is if the relationship does form in the coaching.
yeah.
Right? Because it is like when you cut it off, what does happen after that? Because I had that with like I worked with Sam Taggart for a lot of years, and him and I became friends. Like I think true friends, and I think he.
Well,
would
I'll put
agree
this
and
out
say
there right now before you keep going. This is 100% where Taylor and I are find ourselves right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
And then what happens?
Yeah.
After that, because it's like, okay, well, are we friends? Right? Are we going to hang out? Are we going to talk to each other? Not that hour long, type of relationship that we had before, but did we actually form a true relationship and a friendship that is going to extend past this, right? And I think sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes the answer is no.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't think there's a good answer for that. I think that like it's a very serious case by case basis, and people are going to shit on you no matter what.
Yes.
Right? And I think that
Sometimes I think they make us the enemy because it's the easy out for them. You know what I mean? Like it's easy to,
sure.
you know what I mean? It's just, that's how they rationalize whatever it
Yeah.
is. So they create a story that allows them to feel safe from why they walked away from, whether it was a friendship or from the business relationship.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. That's a tough thing.
Yeah.
That's a really tough thing because I don't want to lose, like, cause I consider a lot of the people in my group, right? Like friends, but I also know that like, I'm not going to give them an hour. But here's the thing. I don't give anybody a fucking hour. You know what I mean? Like I don't give anybody an hour, even people that I've known for 20 years. If they want an hour, it's like, okay, well then we better go schedule golf.
Yeah. I was gonna say, unless it's an activity like smoking cigars or golfing,
Yeah,
where if you're hanging out for 3 hours already and you happen to chop it up,
like that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's what friends do,
100%,
right? Like
100%.
that's cool. But like an hour phone call or a Zoom, like I don't want to do that with my wife. Like, like what are you talking about? Like, so don't make me into the bad guy because of that.
Yeah.
Right. But like, if you truly had a relationship or thought you had a relationship with somebody though, you're still going to take that 10-minute phone call.
yeah, 100%.
Right. Because you care about them and your friends or whatever. And you stop taking the phone call because they're fucking annoying and they don't respect your time and they don't respect your money because they're doing it all the time.
I think I'm guilty of just giving too much to the point where, like, when I finally do cut it off, I'm an asshole.
Correct.
And so I just, like you said, I blur the boundaries because it's like, even if you're no longer a paying client or you've already kind of hit your deliverables for the month, we'll say, and you still need me, I'll give you the hour, the 2 hours, the legal work, the come to your house, whatever. And then all of a sudden I'm like, man, I'm losing again.
Did you throw in come to your house?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, if they're close, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not, my wife kills me for this. She's like, dude, you're like, you don't have healthy boundaries. So then you wonder why people, and because at some point you have to like audit your time and you're like, wow, we're losing right now because Nick's just trying to help everyone win. And his own four walls, like his wife's not even getting him to bed enough of him.
Right.
Because he's like, I got to go put a fire out and this person really needs me. And maybe that's my ego. I'm going to go solve a problem, babe. You know what I mean? But
sorry, I was just thinking about that. because the ego thing gets me a lot. And like, I have to look in the mirror, like doing my show, right? Writing the book, doing all the things that I am doing now. I have to look in the mirror probably every 2 to 3 months and go, why are you doing it?
Is it ego or is
Are
it
you doing it for you or are you doing it for the other people? Like, do you think that you're cool? Is that why you're doing it? And I do have to check on myself every once in a while, because there are moments that I'll be like, that was fucking good, Eric. Like, goddamn, like you looked good in that. You fucking sounded good. Like,
nailed it.
People fucking love you. You know what I mean? Like, and you got to stop and be like,
hold on for a sec, because I'll push back and say, what's wrong with that to a degree? Like, because like I think as men, we have been trained to not stop and give ourselves any sort of pat on the back or grace. Now, don't get me wrong. There's men on the other side of the spectrum, but I think we're both in that same arena where it's like we never ever like. When's the last time you said that? What you just said right now? Hey, you crushed that podcast or that talk, or you look good on that thing, or you really changed that guy's life. You should be proud of yourself. Like, I don't ever say that to myself.
I don't celebrate wins.
Yeah, because it sounds like it's like that's a little egotistical.
I don't celebrate wins. I just figure out where the next one can be.
Yeah.
I have a really hard time with that. I'll give you an example. So we were talking about this morning. And so the book came out, right? And we did the book launch, right? And the whole purpose of the book launch is the publishing group puts it together. So you get 50, 100 people on a call at the same time. And everybody buys the book at the same time so that you can fuck with the algorithm and you can become an Amazon bestseller.
Yep.
Right? Cool.
Yeah, great optics. Great, go.
Great. Right? Then I can put a press release out. I can do all this stuff, say Amazon bestseller, right? It's totally fucking manufactured and fabricated, admitted it, right? Like it is. But at the same time, I did get 100 people to show up on a call and all buy the book at the same time, right? So that's a feat.
So they still support you as a human in your
so
message?
Like, that's still a feat. Like I'm still really proud of that, right? But then Lexi, my videographer and marketing gal that works with me, she's so happy and like proud of me and all this. She like makes this really nice post. And she posts it under my name and she, handles all my social stuff. And she puts it out there. It's a picture of the book with the Amazon bestseller. And it's like, we did it. I did it. Like, look, like it went to the top of the chart, blah, 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 blah. And I woke up that next morning and I saw it. And it was up for 3 minutes. And I texted her, I'm like, fucking take that down.
Yeah.
And she's like, why? And I was like, I didn't do shit. I was like, I wrote a thing. They all supported me. This is about the people that showed up. This is not about me with some manufactured Amazon bestseller thing.
Yep.
This is about the fact that people actually believe in me. It's not about fucking me at all. And I had this real moment of like, I felt gross. Like I felt really bad that if anybody even saw that. But I think it goes back to, I don't know how to celebrate wins either. Right?
Because it is, like you said, like I think maybe you've had more time to reflect on it. I could see a little bit of like either imposter syndrome, because you use the word manufactured, right? So it's like, well, am I really an Amazon bestseller, or did we play the game like everyone else plays the game?
Right.
So there's that story. But then there's the other story when you have time to think about it. I still got 100 people to drop everything they're doing, to get on the call, to hand over their credit card, to support Eric.
Yeah.
I must be impacting somebody, and that's beautiful. But you don't ever.
I
sit
still
down
have days where I don't know why the fuck people listen to me though.
What? Okay, that's a fun one. So I think that's what stops me from being consistent on social.
Yeah.
And consistent with this thing.
Yeah.
As I'm like, I'll get on a little run, but I think it really, my social presence and my podcast, anything that goes out to the public is a direct reflection of how I'm feeling in that 90-day sprint or whatever. Because sometimes and I told my wife, should I be coaching? Because I have like months where I don't want to deal with anybody. Mm-hmm. Leave me the fuck alone. Mm-hmm. Like I don't want to talk to anybody. Mm-hmm. I don't want to. I'll go sit in my basement and I work my face off. I'm building something. But when I'm in builder mode, I don't want to deal with people, And you'll see that from me. I'll just go ghost completely. How do you do that if you got the commitment to the certain people to do it?
I
mean, I have my group will see me, but I will never ever. I won't take a speaking gig. I won't film a podcast episode. I definitely won't go on social. I definitely won't do a live.
Got it.
I'm just like, I'll handle my obligations, but I won't extend myself to anything new. I won't go to a single networking event.
Got it.
I'm like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
Understood. Okay.
And so I haven't found a way to be 365 days always. And I'm not saying on, because I think we talked about this right before we turned the camera on today. A lot of my material by default is I want to educate. Like that's just, I don't know why. Man, I'm not even a good salesman anymore. I used to be a great salesman. And now I find when I do webinars or any sort of like hour Zoom, like a discovery call, all I do is give away as much shit as possible. And I just never, I'm like, hey, I hope you won. And they're like, well, where's the pitch? I was like, I don't know. If you want to hang out, we can hang out. But
you can find me.
yeah, that's exactly like I did it today twice, and my wife's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't even have that. I don't have that killer instinct lately. I just want to help, and even that sounds douchey. I just want to help everybody win.
It does,
But like, I genuinely am at a place, and it doesn't serve me financially, where I just want to give as much shit away for free. And if I do it right, someone will say, "Hey, how does it work to work with you? What does it look like to do? I want more of this. What is it?" And then we can maybe have that combo.
Right.
But I haven't initiated an actual like close in probably 2 years, dude. And it's probably, my team is probably like, this is weird. This is moving slow. You know what I mean?
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, I think that my free is the podcast, right? Because I make sure that I do that and that's out every week. But my coaching's different than yours. Yours is very structured.
Ish, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, yours is way more structured than mine. Mine's yeah. But we have the same reason that we do it. Yeah. Yeah. Was there a question behind that? I forgot.
I can't remember. I think I was just talking about not only the inability to like pat yourself on the back, but like, I don't know where we're going.
Yeah. I thought I missed it. So
let's move to the A, just so we could try to keep some structure to this podcast. So, be authentic or get the fuck out. I love how you have the word fuck in your book and in your podcast, and we've said it on this thing. We both have, or I know I have, lost speaking gigs because of how many F words we bring to the table sometimes.
Really?
I know I have. I've been told, like, I was going to book you for this thing. So, most recently, because I live in the buckle of the Bible Belt, I've been to some faith-based things like Christian Chamber of Commerce and something else. And I've been invited by somebody, and then they try to tell the guy, like, hey, you should have this guy speak. He's like a powerful speaker. And then they go and they look me up, and they're like, no, this guy can't get his shit together.
Really?
Yeah. But it doesn't. I think that's something I'm most recently wrestling with, because then am I being authentic if I pull back or pull out the F words? Because when I get worked up and I get passionate, they come out, dude. That's just where we're at. Like, there's no way I could get through one of my 3-day events.
No.
My wife she'll be at an event sometimes, or someone else on my team, and we want to repurpose that content. And they're like, dude, like, there's just F words everywhere. And I'm like, well, use it, or then use it. Well, I don't get it, but.
Well, so when I was writing that, the publisher had the balls to tell me that I couldn't have the title, and that every fuck in the book was going to have to be blacked out.
Asterisk? What are they written?
Well, they asterisked it.
In the book, though? I know the title.
In the book, they did, because they said that in some places,
publishing places,
that they're going to put it, that it might not like pass.
See the day light.
And I was like, they're still going to read it the way that I want it read, so like I'm okay with it. But they wanted me to change the title. They literally weren't going to let me have the title because they said that it wouldn't work or whatever.
So you could spell shit. I see shit in here.
Yep, okay. Yep. But I was like, you can keep the fucking book then. I go, I'll hire somebody else.
Yeah.
And I wrote that story in the book, shitting on the publisher, saying, go fuck yourself then.
Nice.
Like, I've got emails where I was like literally cursing them out. And I was like, have you read what I wrote? Like, are you out of your mind? Do you think you're going to tell me that I can't write me? Because when you read that, if you read it,
I'll read it.
You can't not hear that it's me.
Yeah.
Like, you'll know there isn't a lick of AI in there, right? There's no AI. There's no bullshit. Like, it's me writing and speaking that book.
I feel like I missed my window, because that's the thought that's crossed my mind lately, the AI thing you just mentioned. Because I was close. I paid a guy.
Yep.
I was 15 grand in-ish, and I'm like, all right, he tried to take over. And I paused it, and I was like, oh, I could AI finish this thing tomorrow. Yeah, and I'm like, fuck, now I can't even no, exactly that though. Yeah. So now it doesn't matter if I finish it without someone touching it, ghostwriter, AI, anything, because it's going to have that asterisk of like, this was published during the AI era.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I think you were early enough. I think it's just going to be a giant question mark now. But to your point, not if you've seen me speak on stage or you know me, you'll be able to hear. I think that should be the goal of anybody who writes a book. If you can actually hear my voice, my tone, my energy, authentically me, as you read this, I did a good job.
Yep. And that was the biggest compliment that I've gotten since it came out, is that I've had a couple of friends that have read it, and they're like, I know you wrote it.
Yeah.
Like, I can tell. I could hear you. I heard it. I read it in your voice, like everything. And so whether they like the content or not,
sure,
at least I got through.
So you haven't been told to your face or in writing that your use of profanity has cost you speaking gigs?
I am just now starting to book more speaking gigs, so I'm sure that it will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was speaking before,
it was all people that knew you?
It was all people that knew me,
sure.
Right? And so now I'm on a journey. I'm working with, Steve Sims. So I'm working with Steve Sims, and
is he doing like stage work with you?
No, so I hired him just to help me learn how to get more paid speaking gigs.
Gotcha.
And so he's very good at it, and does a lot. And I'm going out to an event of his in California next month, but I'm surprised you don't know him.
Yeah, SoCal guy too.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Huh.
English.
Like
English.
a British dude?
Yeah.
Oh man, that should definitely. I mean, what part of SoCal is it? In Orange County somewhere?
He's in Newport Beach.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure we've bumped into the same circles because that's impossible, but I don't
it's
recognize
just
the name.
weird. Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't. But anyway, so I'm working with him just to figure that game out a little bit more because I truly enjoy speaking to groups of people. I hate networking. I hate large groups of people that I have to network with.
Yeah.
Hate it. Fucking gives me anxiety. It's awful. But you can put me on a stage with 10,000 people.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Like,
Well, you're good at it too. You have, I mean, that's,
Thank
it's like the number one fear is public speaking.
Yeah.
And so I do think you have to have a bit of, you either have it or you don't, and then you could fine tune it and polish it.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Yeah. And I love it. So I want to do more of that. I want to do 8 to 10 a year. Just because I do, because I love it. And it lends to that. Right. I have no idea where I was going with this, but yeah. Oh, the speaking. Yeah. So I have not gotten told no yet.
Well, have you worked with Steve? Because he might say, hey, we're going to have to figure some of this out, or I can't book you certain things. Like, because he must know you well enough to know that.
Yes,
I mean, it's the title of the book, right?
But he curses as well. He's done a very good job of making sure that when he's promoting himself, they don't find that unless he wants them to find that.
So that's probably what I need to do. So we just built out. So yeah, okay.
Because I rebuilt my website with my speaking page and all that stuff. And so on the landing page, I'm putting a normal clip that doesn't push that. But then I can direct them to other things if I'm like, you want the real Eric, you want the edgy Eric, or you want that Eric,
Gotcha.
right? And then we can direct them to where we want to.
It's funny you say that because we just redid my page yesterday.
Yeah.
Literally yesterday.
Yeah. Mine just got finished like a month ago.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I get it. And again, where I wrestle with is like, and I have toned it down a lot. I think some of it's just happening by default because where I live, like 90% of the networking events I go to are in a church. It seems.
Does it make you? I think I'm just a horrible human, but does it? When you're told you can't, does it make you want to do it more?
It makes me not want to fit in their box because the way that some people say it to me is like I had a guy come to an event in St. George, Utah. We had a lot of Mormons there. Can I say Mormons? I get yelled at for that. What's the
Why
one?
can't you say Mormons?
I know. What's the other one? LDS?
LDS.
Anyway, one of the words they get mad at.
Fucking Mormons.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. They're fucking Mormons, all right? I love you guys, but fucking Mormons.
You're fucking Mormons.
So this guy, he paid good money to come to my 2.5-day event, and he made it past day one, and he literally stood up in the middle of like 45 dudes and was like, I love what you're building. I understand the message, but my ears are literally bleeding. And so he was nice about it, but just the way he said it was like, in my head, I'm like, and I think I maybe said this to him. I was like, if you let a word, right, like a phonetic, like sound, like a you know what I mean, stop you from experiencing this experience that A, you paid for, and B, you're watching how powerful it is. If you let that word or multiple uses of that word
own you,
then, like you said, I'll pray for you, brother. Like I will, because you're missing out on a lot of life. You know?
Lot.
Yeah.
I have a really I get really charged up, if you will, with people that judge people for words that they use, because in 3 years, asparagus might be fucking a bad word.
Don't you dare say. You don't have to bleep that out now. Yeah,
you're right. Like you don't know, and it's because you fucking decided today, blue hair, that I'm not allowed to say that word. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Like because, sorry, I just had a story come up in my head because I was dealing with my daughter. So my daughter's 9, and last night my wife calls me. And I was actually wanted to tell this story earlier. Sorry, I'm just
100%. Get after it.
I'm just gonna hijack and fucking tell the story. Yeah. So, we are not a religious family. Okay. My daughter knows what I believe in. My daughter knows, like, I believe in higher power and some spirituality and stuff like that. But we do not go to church. I don't believe in the books and the stories and all the stuff. I believe in other things. And she has this little group of girlfriends that they go to Bible camp together, but they were like, all these 3 girls are joined at the hip, right? But the 2 were a little bit closer because they live closer to each other and they go to these camps and shit together, right? And over the course of the last couple of weeks, for some reason, they started excluding her. They started excluding her at recess. They started excluding her at lunch. I mean, they were like really, really close. And apparently yesterday or the day before at school, and again, my daughter's 9, and she's like the sweetest, nicest little girl in the world. She's quiet, like she's subdued until you get to know her, and then she's fun and loud and all the things, right? And she was out on the playground and they were being mean to her because she wasn't going to this Bible camp with them. And they told her that she couldn't play with them and blah, blah, blah. And she turned around and she walked away and she just goes, bitches.
Proud dad moment. Yeah.
Kinda. Yeah. And some little boy heard her and went and told the girls and started this whole thing last night. Well, I'm here, right? And she's back home with my wife, and my wife's sending me this screenshot of this text messages that the girls are sending her. And they're like, we can never forgive you for something like that. And Natalie's like, what should you like? Because my wife calls me to write her emails for her.
Okay.
I'm the guy that has to write text messages and then send them to the person so that they can send them off.
Gotcha.
Right? I'm good at that. I can write emails. I can write text. She's like, what? She's like, what should Tegan say? My first thought, because I'm an asshole, was Jesus forgives, ladies.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that was my first fucking thought, but like that was going to go way too far, and like that would have blown the whole thing up.
You're all fucking Judas.
Yeah.
Like,
and,
just hit him hard.
And then I wrote this nice little thing, you know, to give her, to be like, I'm really sorry, and anything that I can do to make it better, I want to. I was sad and I said some things I shouldn't have, and I'll own that, like, but whatever, right? And just left it at that. But what got me is that those girls are judging somebody because they don't understand who she is, because she has a different belief system than they do. And they don't even have a belief system. They're fucking 9.
Of course.
They were told what to fucking believe, right?
Yep.
My daughter doesn't have a belief system. She just hasn't.
She's also 9, and she hasn't really figured it out.
Yeah,
she hasn't landed on one yet.
No,
yeah.
and because I want her to have the opportunity to find her own. I'm
Sure.
not going to be the one that tells her what she has to believe or not believe, right? Like, nobody made me do that, and I thank them all for not doing that to me, right? And it made me so angry, right? One, because it's a 9-year-old little girl, and like, I want to go fight.
And it's your 9-year-old little girl. So
yeah, and like, I want to go fight a 9-year-old little girl right
Yeah.
now. But it brought me back to all of that I wrote, of like, man, I really do want to understand like where that's coming from, right? But then also sitting there going, why can't people do that for everybody else?
Yeah.
This would be such a better world environment, not to sound like I'm running for, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not on the pageant show, but like, this would be such a better world and environment and people if like we actually took the time to understand where other people are coming from, other than everything that is different from what we think is
A threat.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a threat. And it's like, it's fucking not.
Yeah, it's just different.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No,
Sorry.
that's and you know what's crazy is that everything's perpetuating this, right? Like, social media is doing a very good job of running that algo. Because I have to tell my wife sometimes, you know, we're a super red family, and we had our daughter go away to Alabama, which we thought wouldn't be an issue, but she came back a little purple.
Really?
Yeah, man, which is weird, right? Bama,
Yeah.
Dixie, Land of Light, all the things.
But it's
you know,
college.
It's still college. She's in a sorority. Like,
Yeah.
it's still, and you've got college professors that are teaching, like, you
Unless
know,
you
peace,
send her to
love, and-
Liberty.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, where I'm going with this is I have to sometimes remind my wife, because she'll get a little worked up, that like, she's super opinionated and thinks she has it figured out because she's 22 and just left, right? That's a time in her life where she has it all figured out. And then she's being fueled with different, like, her actual algorithm is showing her things that are so far that side and anti this side. It just starts to, again, program her. And so she's just same as you, though. So we're clear. You're vehemently like opposed to all of these thoughts, when the reality is, even if you don't agree with someone, what is the harm in just trying to understand where they're coming from? Even when you see a crazy blue hair on TV and your first reaction is fucking weirdo,
Right.
Karen, whatever, right? Whatever you want to say. But what if you sat down for a second and said, I wonder why she thinks that way.
Yeah.
I wonder why she's so quick to get enraged and loud and whatever. And I don't appreciate it and whatever, but I think we touched on a little bit earlier. I think some people are genuinely scared that if they go down the rabbit hole enough of understanding, that they are a little weak in their beliefs and they are easily swayed, and they, you know, like, they don't want to give up that control, if that makes sense. And so it's a threat. It is a threat because you are different and you think different.
Yeah. And I know that I'm not perfect at it. Right?
No, none of us
all.
are. I'm over here preaching, but not hell no.
Like,
Trust me, I get just as triggered.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'll get absolutely triggered. I think the difference is, for me, is that I'll catch myself quicker.
Correct. That's all you can do. That's exactly the answer.
Yeah, I catch myself quicker, and I'm like, okay, hold up.
You're doing what they want you to do.
You're doing the thing.
Yeah.
You're doing the thing that you don't want other people to do. And I think the difference is the people that are getting triggered and never self look, never self.
Yeah, it's awareness.
Yeah, never have any self awareness. Like,
so my story that helps me get past that, and I probably sound like a coming from an ivory box sometimes, is like their level of consciousness will not allow them to see the other side, and that's just where they're at in their journey. And I'm okay with that. And because of the amount of work I've done on myself, I can at least catch myself. Because again, I'm not anywhere near perfect at it. But if I can be 10 minutes into this, like I want to kill them rant because they're blue hairs, and then catch myself and pull back and just try to understand where they're coming from, that's as far as I am on my journey. I would love to be at a place in my journey where I'm just like neutral all the time and I totally understand and I love you and I hope you win and all the time. But I have my moments. You know what I mean? But I guess what I'm saying is I don't think I created that sentence. Someone gave me that sentence as a tool in my tool belt. They're like, look, just say to this, just understand that wherever they're at, their level of consciousness, it's not that that doesn't make them less than you or worse than you. It's they haven't done the work you've done to be able to have the level of awareness to catch themselves.
And it doesn't make them bad.
No, it doesn't make them less than or bad.
Right.
I can't stress that enough. And sometimes when I try to explain this point, again, I'm coming across as like holier than thou or pompous or whatever.
Right.
That's just where they're at in their journey. That's where I'm at. And maybe it's dangerous for me to be at this part of my journey. I don't fucking know, because it is a lot to wrestle with when you're trying to process both sides and keep peace and whatever. But this is where, when you go back to the story I was telling you earlier, and I don't know if it'll make the episode, have my wife and I put that behind us. Mm-hmm. The amount of work that I've done on self, I can wholly forgive that human being, even though they've completely destroyed us.
Yeah.
I really can't. Like, I could be at peace with that. There's no fucking way my wife ever gets there. And I want her to, because it's so much easier on this side.
But does she want to?
I don't think so. And I think she's triggered that I am at times.
And she, say that again?
I don't think she wants to get there.
Yeah.
And I think it bothers her that I am there at times, because she can't understand how I could forgive somebody that continues to destroy us. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
So that's where the conflict arises sometimes. Because I'm like totally like, whatever, let her, it's like we're better off waking up every day and just like earning our way out of the situation.
And that's me.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why would I give that any energy?
My wife also loves owning hate.
Yeah. I can see, okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a little bit.
That's a much better way of saying that, yeah.
Yeah, she likes kind of owning that hate, because I think it'll fuel you a little bit. And it's like I
have my moments where I want to tear her face off, right?
Dude, and again, as do I, right? Yeah. I also think that being around people that do own, like you can tell, don't want to let something go, it does help us remember why we've done all the work.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to go back there, because I was that person.
It's painful to stay there.
It really is.
To watch that person to go through that, you're like, oh.
But then I sympathize, I empathize with them, because I'm like, fuck, I don't want you there.
Yeah.
Like, not even for me, because it seems selfish when you first do it.
Sure.
Because it's like, well, I just don't want you to be mad at me anymore. And it's like, no, I want you to be okay with you.
Yeah.
I want you to be okay.
Please make it to this side of the fence, because it's beautiful over here.
It's way better. Mm-hmm. Like, it's way better, like, just kind of letting shit go eventually, right? Like, like, be fucking... I love being mad once in a while.
I wrestle with the fact that if I've become more too pacifist in my older age, with all the work that we've done and I've done. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I let shit go sometimes. The question is, are you letting shit go too easily now? Because is there a amount of time to process or a response where you still feel like, I don't want to say feel like a man, but you feel like you handled your shit? Because at some point, you treat people how to treat you. And if you're always the guy that's like kind of like Buddha, or and you're just kind of like letting it all roll off your back, how does that affect how you're treated down the road? Because people are still people, and hurt people. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's something I have internally. I know I wrestle with, is like,
I do too.
Am I being a little bitch right now?
I do too. And my wife is very like, she'll challenge me.
That's exactly. Right? Then we're dealing with the same human.
Yes, yeah. And so my wife will challenge me and be like, "What are you, a fucking pussy? Go fucking get them."
Yep.
And I'm like. And I sit there, I had to explain it to her as like a cost-benefit analysis. And I'm like, it's just like when we were suing that fucking company, and we got an offer for $150,000. The max we were going to get was like $280,000, but I was going to have to spend $75,000, and I probably was never going to get $280,000, and it was probably going to land here anyway, which means we were going to net the same amount of money. So let's just fucking take this so I can use my energy somewhere else. Right.
Yep.
And that's how I equate it to situations like that. It's like, okay, I'm going to give some of my money, i.e. time and my energy and my anger, to it so that I can feel that for a minute. But then eventually, then if that owns me, then everything else is being neglected. And if I don't let it go, then all of the good things in my life start to go away because I'm not putting water on those anymore. Does that make sense?
No, 100%. You're 100% because it is about capacity and energy. And if you're so hell bent on ruining this person that's ruining you, how many beautiful things are you missing? Opportunity on?
Yeah.
And how
let me have it for like a week or two, right?
Or just once in a while. Like I said, I'm still at a place where I like, depending on who I'm talking to, what mood I'm in, I want to do harm. But for the most part, I'm like, do you know what?
But every once in a while, I just want to motherfuck you a little bit.
I would do the same.
I'm still gonna do it.
All right, so we're obviously super authentic and all that stuff. So even if sometimes we have to ask ourselves, "Am I being a little bitch?" Or our wives challenge us and say, and to your point on them, when you explain with the lawsuit, it's like if you're not in the weeds on that, you get to, this is where people judge without understanding. They're like, "Oh, he was a bitch and he walked away at $150 or whatever." When you're like, "Yeah, that was the most intelligent thing of all time to do, and I won." That was a win,
right?
And I don't owe you an explanation. You know what I mean? So, meaning. Let's move. Let's get this wrapped up here, so these guys can learn how to apply it to something in their life. Let's talk about meaning for a second. I tried to not manufacture purpose, but I thought this is where my ego was for the first year and a half, 2 years of the program. Our original tagline was 6-figure profits to 7-figure purpose. And I genuinely thought I could show guys how to find their purpose in life. And I've failed and I've got framework after meditation retreat, from fasting to breath to, like you name it. Like, how can I get guys there? And then if I could build that, I have something. And I call bullshit. It's impossible is where I'm at.
So that was never my intention.
I obviously took meaning over to purpose.
I never thought of it that way. So the way that I talk about it and try to implement the word meaning is finding out what you do care about, and then showing you that I support that, and I want to help you grow whatever that is for you. It's not helping you find your purpose. It's once you've found it, how do I help you amplify it, right? And then also in the business side is making sure that inside of my ecosystem and my environment, that what you're doing here is giving you some meaning, right? And that you don't feel like, the example I always use is like the short amount of time that I went to college. You went to school, you're a lawyer and shit. So you were identified, or at least I was, by my social security number. Right? Every time you went to a class, they were like, what's your social security number? I'm like, well, my fucking name is Eric, asshole. Right? But everybody knew you as your social security number. That's what you filled out on everything. Like, that was how you were known. And I realized that I always wanted to make sure that nobody felt like their social security number inside of my organization. I wanted everybody to feel like they had purpose inside of this organization, and that whatever it was that they cared about, I might not care about it, but I care that they care about it, right? Of course. So if we do some type of charity event or whatever it is, I'm going to take a poll and find out, what does everyone here care about? And I want to do something that gives you meaning, even if it doesn't me, right? Even if I don't care about fucking dogs or
Habitat for Humanity, right?
Whatever.
And that's what you're into. That's
maybe
what we're
I
doing
don't
this
care,
quarter.
but you do. So I want to make sure that something that we're doing, if we're making money, I want to be able to facilitate that thing for you too, and giving meaning back to the people inside of my world. And whether that's, again, my family or it's the people in my organization, I want them to have that same feeling that they're getting meaning out of what they're doing in my org. Does that make sense?
No, it's huge. I think when you speak to like building a culture and building your team and fostering this whole acronym and this framework, I don't think enough people focus on giving meaning, like, so that person feels, everybody on the planet Earth wants to be like, seen, heard, and ultimately loved. And if that you can accomplish those things inside of a business organization, and it could be something as simple as, hey, this quarter we're going to choose, Jamie's passion, and we're going to do Habitat for Humanity. So instead of the KPI being let's hit 2 million in top line revenue, it's going to be let's take a percentage of our revenue target and let's go build a house.
Yep.
And she's going to love you for that forever. And there's actually some studies that show what that does for your organization on the financial side, and it's always it's always a win. Yeah, it's called the 3% rule. Oh. Like if you take 3% of your top line revenue and you move it to something that's bigger than Eric getting the new house because the company crushed it this year. Like, let's say you choose Habitat for Humanity. And I know break rooms aren't really a thing. I don't know, is your team like inside of four walls, or are they just scattered all over remotely?
No, we have. I mean, we have.
You have a home base. So okay, cool. So like, imagine in the break room, instead of just OSHA posters, there's like a big old thermostat or thermometer that says once we hit this, we can build 3 houses, right? And when you get your team to rally behind a cause that's bigger than this spreadsheet that shows an extra comma or decimal, the uptick is on average 9% in annual revenue. Because you'll get Saturdays worked, you'll get longer hours worked, you'll get better hours worked. And so you took 3% of your entire earnings and you helped people, which you should be doing anyway. I don't like to pitch it this way, but sometimes to my numbers guys, I do. And so as a result, you have a 9% swing, which is a 6% delta. So you can actually make more money if you actually put people first. Because then imagine, if as long as you don't abuse it, don't do this ugly, right? If it's you versus the other guy in your industry that's also in your neighborhood, and Miss Jones is choosing, and she knows that your organization builds Habitat for Humanity houses, then now you've got that. So you've got it on the front end from a place of optics and potential more customers. But what you really have it from is a driving force, because your community, your team is rallied behind something they genuinely give a shit about.
Yeah.
So
I think I definitely, I didn't know that number.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting number. But I just always thought about it from I want people to stay.
Yeah.
Right.
No, so retention, but how much does that, I think if we play the money game, which I hate to do again,
Yep.
how much does it cost to lose an employee, like a solid ass employee?
A lot.
Yeah, the turnaround time, the onboarding time, the finding the time nowadays, because you've got not a lot
And
of
I think money wise, if people read the book for that reason alone,
Yep.
if you actually implement the things that we talk about in there, the money that you will save by retention is through the roof. I think that's the biggest cost.
It's actually the biggest financial hit to a small, whatever they consider small business nowadays. I don't know what the dollar amount is, but it used to be like 10 million or under. The biggest financial hit you can possibly take is loss of employee.
Yeah.
Because of again, run not just the numbers, but it demoralizes the team. You got to find somebody. They don't stick. They're a cancer. It's just all the energy. We can go on and on. It's pretty much a no-brainer, but that is actually the number one cost.
The other thing that I talk about in the book that I do want to touch on,
Sure.
Just because I think it's important, is I think I have a whole chapter on it, or at least half a chapter. We have forgotten in this century that we're in, not century, but this couple of decades, what it means to honor your word. And I think I'll watch old movies, right? Or you watch old Westerns and whatever, and you have they're like, it's all I got. All I got is my word.
It's all a man has is his word.
It's all a man has is his word. And I've just always been that way, right?
Yeah, if it comes out of my mouth, it gets done, even if it hurts me.
Especially if it hurts me, right?
I like that.
Because I think that that's how I'm defined. And I know that I am, because I know that my wife even has gotten mad at me, because she's like, why the fuck are you doing that? That's going to cost us this, and this. And I'm like, I know, but I said I was going to do it. I was like, how am I supposed to go back? I realize that this is not only not going to benefit us, but it's going to hurt us.
Yeah.
But I said I was going to
But you
do
know when it
now.
hurt? When did it hurt? It hurt when it came out of your mouth.
Right.
And that's what people need to understand. Like you said, if you're really a man about your word, if it came out of my mouth 6 months ago, and now it comes time to honor it, and it could be Christmas, and you owe someone 10 grand, and you only have 10 grand to buy presents, and you're like, hey, wife, I told him he'd have it by this date, or he can't buy presents.
Right.
And I promised him this 10 grand, and this is gonna suck.
Yeah.
But this is that important to me.
And maybe I shouldn't have said it.
That's what I'm saying. So it sucked when I said it, but I said it, and that's it, lady. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I think that if people started to remember that again and realize how big of a deal that was, so many things would be different, right? So many people would be different, and so many relationships would still be intact.
Yep.
Right. I've lost a lot of relationships over the last 8 years. I've lost a lot of relationships because people said they were going to do something
honor their word. Yeah.
and don't honor their word. And I just made it a thing where I was like, no matter what, I will always do what I say I'm going to do.
So let me ask you this. Because it's such a, so by the way, the example I gave you is a real example that happened in our life, because, so we have this code called truth. It's an acronym. The letter H
is that when you're on your truth kick?
Well, yeah, just that little time in my life, I gave it a go. Not for everyone. But no, the H stands for honor your word. Yeah. And so it's literally like,
okay.
Every
got a
member,
lot
like
in common,
Taylor's
we?
going to throw flips because they have to recite that code on camera to enter the program. So I can, because I hold up the mirror. So let's say they back out of their contract or anything, they miss calls. It's like, hey, dude, you said right here you would honor your word. Here's your video recording of you saying it. Where was I going with that? Well, shit. It was going to be good.
It's a real story.
Yeah, I was just giving you that example I gave you was real because it's that important to us, but not enough people do it. I do know that. I'm just trying to think of how far I was going to go with that. I lost it. This is where I shouldn't be podcasting. You're watching it live.
I do that.
I know.
Too.
I had a really cool point I was going to bring up. Well, shit.
God damn it.
Next time, folks.
Sorry.
No, but I'm glad you brought it up, and I'm glad it's a whole chapter or half a chapter in your book because, it's insane to me that people don't. Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. It sounds like it's such a non-negotiable for you. Yeah. And you talked about losing people in the last 8 years or so. Is it now such a non-negotiable where you cut people out the minute they don't do it, or do you give some grace? Because to hold people to that standard is, I found, damn near impossible. Even my guys that do it on camera and say they're going to honor their word don't do it all the time.
I think it depends on the level of the
renege. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to call it betrayal anymore.
Yep.
But that's what it feels like, right? And I think to me it's the level. Like I do give grace and I think it goes back to our conversation previously. I think I give too much.
Yeah.
I probably give too much grace and I let it go for too long. And then that becomes a detriment to me.
Then you have resentment for that person and then you're showing up different.
Yeah. And then that invades my energy and it starts making me negative. And then it starts making me look at other people in a different light that they probably shouldn't be looked at in, because I start prejudging other people because I'm like, well, if this guy fucked me, then
matter of time before this one.
Yeah. And so I think that I've struggled with that. And again, I think so that other book that I told you about, The Trust Trap, that Clay wrote, that has helped me digest a lot of that and change my framework and my lens on how I see people and humans in general now. And so that's been a really interesting, that's a whole nother fucking 2 hours.
Yeah.
But that's a really interesting dynamic and figuring out how much of that betrayal you own.
Yeah.
Not because you did anything wrong, but because you weren't paying attention to what was happening and what was changing in the relationship. And then
that
all
led
of a sudden,
to the point of them not.
Something didn't just happen one day. There was a lead up to it, and you weren't watching it.
So the narrative I run is not only how detrimental it is to our relationship and to me because they let me down or use the word betrayal, but what it hurts me the most is that it's a betrayal to themselves, because when you can't honor your word to somebody else, then you're likely not honoring your word to self. And so what that does for your belief in self and your ability to execute. Because if you're always like saying out loud, I'm going to lose 10 pounds by summer, right? And then you always wiggle out of that because no one's really around to hold you accountable. Well, now you can't even honor your own word to yourself. And that never builds the self-efficacy, self-esteem, all the words to actually build the life that you say that you want. And you can't quite figure it out, But it starts with something as simple as just honor your word. It's going to suck. Yeah. It's going to be 10 o'clock at night and you haven't done cardio yet and you want to eat ice cream, but it's 3 days from summer and you're at 9 pounds and you could say 9 is good enough, right? I don't know. Do you want to honor your fucking, pull it off, dude?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy.
I think I'm really passionate about it, and it almost gets to a point where it's hard to talk about, right? Because it's not normal anymore.
Oh, 100%. This is how bad I'm going to go a little crazy on this. I don't know if I said this on your podcast, but you almost did it twice and you caught yourself. So maybe either you remember I said this on your podcast or you're just that fucking aware now too. If someone says, to be honest with you, truth be told, to tell you the truth, full transparency.
Oh, yeah.
I do this every single time. Like I've almost started fights because most guys don't have the balls to ask me why I'm doing it. But typically if somebody has that in their vernacular, they'll use it multiple times in a conversation. Yeah. And I will just continue to talk to you, but you'll see me do this. And you might at first think it's my tick. And it's become that now because I'm so obsessed with everything we do is built around truth. That's the only way to get in. That's my whole, thing I tell you about. So like when you want to talk about, it's just now people text TBH. They start texts with that. And now that I've said that, and please listen to this podcast, you're going to hear it on commercials, every TV show, every radio show. Well, to be honest with you, what does that mean? Like subconsciously, that means everything that you said before was not honest.
Did I say it?
No. It's going to be funny if you go or listen to this back. There was 2, maybe 3. You actually started and you stopped every single time. Yeah. And the reason I can say that is because I'm that aware of those sentences. Yeah. Because I would have done it, and not to offend you. I just would have told you why I done it. Would have been funny, whatever. Yeah. But the point I'm trying to make is that's how common it is.
Yes,
it's just a turn of phrase now. Yes. It's common vernacular. It has shortcuts on text messages. Everybody says it. They script commercials with it in there, and I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck all of you.
I have trainings in my company where you're not allowed to say it.
Yeah.
Because I sit there and I'm like, if you say it, it means that everything else has been a lie.
Bullshit.
Everything else has been a lie.
And people push back and be like, come on, dude, it's just a turn of phrase.
No,
is it, though?
it's
Or is
not.
it that common? And again, subconsciously, like Miss Jones might not think that exact sentence, everything before this was a lie, but subconsciously, you've just lost points.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And I love most people. Like, I have a guy that I listen to, and I watched a lot of soccer overseas, right? And he's my favorite guy for the team that I follow. And every time I watch him, it's getting to a point now I don't think I can watch him anymore. And I've been following him for like 5 years. He's got over 2 million followers on YouTube, and all he does is watch the soccer team I love and comment on it. But he says, to be honest, and full transparency and all that shit so much, I want to say probably 50 times an episode.
Really?
And I'm at a point now where I'm like, fuck, I've now created like my own visceral reaction to this where I don't know if I can follow him anymore.
So you know what I do instead now? If I'm going to tell somebody, because I think it preempts something that you think is
It's important. Lean in. It's about to get real. 100%.
So what I do now is I'm like, I'm going to tell you a secret.
Dude, I've had to catch myself and say something like, actually, or like, you know what I mean? Or something around facts, or I have a couple things that I've used where because I've caught myself going down that road. I don't do it. I've gotten really good now because I'm so fucking aware of it.
Yeah.
But that's a fun one for me because I'll do it during events. It doesn't matter where I'm at. I'll be at the bank. I don't care where I'm at. I'm just like, yeah.
I'm going to start doing that.
Dude, people
because
like,
it drives me fucking crazy.
Dude, well, I've convinced myself that one of my purposes on this earth is to get dudes to stop lying. And so the main reason I do it is it starts the conversation around truth, and it triggers people. Don't get me wrong. And to me, that's kind of fun.
Okay, so now I'm going to flip the script. I'm going to interview you for a second.
Sure.
Then. So what event made that passionate for you? Because my initial reaction is like, it had to be in a moment where you weren't telling the truth.
Sure. I'll give it to you right now. That's
Right?
how passionate. It's December 12th, 2018, San Diego, California. I went to my very first personal development event of all time, and it happened to be Garrett White, who runs Wake Up Warrior. And I had just had my man in the mirror moment, and I had a soccer dad that kind of figured out my wife and I were living separate. We weren't fully divorced yet, but we were definitely showing up different to the kids' practices and games. And he said, hey, I'm about to go to this thing. It's actually pretty, a little too aggressive for me, but I think it's right up your alley. I was like, I don't do that shit. I don't do that Tony Robbins woo-woo, walk on hot coals shit. It ain't for me. Like, if you would have told me 6 years ago I would meditate and journal every day, I'd probably punch you in the teeth.
Yep.
So I said, all right, I'll give it a go because at least I'll go with him. I was like, I'll check out for one day. It was a 2.5 day thing. And in the first 10 minutes, 1,600 dudes in a conference room had to get out of their chairs, face each other, a dude you've never met before. We had to find someone we didn't come with or whatever, and you do push-ups. And you have to look at the other guy in the eye and scream, like spit talk, I am a fucking liar. That's how you open the event, Garrett White. And, you know, what's going through your head? Who the fuck is this guy? I'm not a fucking liar. And we all are, but it's like, I don't know this fucking guy. Like, fuck you, you're a liar too. I don't know. It was just, there's so many things going through your head. And throughout the course of that event, this is the sentence, and I'm sure I said this on your podcast because I always give Garrett White credit. He said, maybe it was a day and a half into the event, in a world full of liars, the truth is a declaration of war. And I wrote that down, and it just kind of became like that was it. December 12th, 2018. Like I'd like to sit here and say I've never told a lie since that date. I can tell you I've never intentionally lied since that date. No way. There's just no way. Yeah. Now I might have like caught myself omitting something or bending something or loopholing. I was still lawyering at the time. Yeah. But I just went on this crazy. I burned everything down when I started speaking truth. I lost all my friends. I lost everybody, dude. I cheated on my wife for years, and who do you think I hung out with? You know, you are the sum of the 5 people you associate with most. All my homies were cheating on their wives. So now I was a leper. Oh, Nick came clean to his wife. Nick's working on his marriage. Well, Nick told his wife about all the girls he's been sleeping with. We had that conversation, right? And we separated as a result of it, by the way. We didn't just kiss and make up, right? Yeah. And I felt bad for her. Again, I ostracized her from everybody because now the Alfanos weren't invited to anything. Because at some point, Nick might, whatever, or the wives might get together and be like, well, Nick was telling me all this. And if you line up all the dates, it looks like your man might have been. And I've never ratted on another dude to it, like his wife. That's between him, obviously. But yeah, man, it cost me everything. But it is the most, like, even as we sit on here right now, I just told you about the criminal. Like, I don't care, dude. Yeah. Like, if you hate me for it, if I can't open the bank account, if you don't want to sell me the property, if you think I'm a shitty human, I don't fucking know what to tell you. That's my story. That's who I am.
But the difference is like with me is when you tell me a story like that, and maybe this is the intention, but when you tell me a story like that, it makes me trust you more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because
But that's how you receive it.
Yes.
Some people want
Correct.
nothing to do
No,
with
I
it.
know. But that's also the people that I'm attracted to.
Yeah.
Right? I'm attracted to those people, and I think those same people are attracted to me because of that. And those are the people I want in my sphere.
Yeah.
And I keep my circle very fucking small, which I assume you do as well.
I've had to look at it as a blessing and a filter.
Yep.
Because when you learn all of the things about my past, if you want nothing to do with me, perfect.
Cool.
Perfect.
That's
I love
why
you.
I wrote the book.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's why I wrote the book, because I knew that it would push away what I didn't want.
And attract who you wanted.
And I love that.
Yep.
And I think that there was a time though when I started, probably I would assume that you had the same feeling, but like when you started, whether it was coaching or speaking or being a public figure or whatever it is, you thought you needed to attract everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how you win.
Yeah.
I need everyone to like me, right? And that couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah.
Like it's exactly the opposite. But until you figure that out, I don't think you can truly win.
And I think where some guys are getting that wrong, if we push back on your word authentic, is like, I don't want everyone to like me because that's fake. But then some guys go so hard to be so polarizing because then that's a thing now. So they haven't found that middle, the authentic version of them. It's like I'm going to go really hard one way or the other, because and this brings me to the guys, like I don't want to name names and piss a lot of people off on this just yet, but there's guys out there that we bump into a lot on stages that they go out of their way to be polarizing, and you can just tell when it's manufactured, when it's absolute shit.
It's just
You know what I mean?
attention seeking
Exactly.
at that point. And that drives me up a
Yeah,
goddamn
yeah.
wall. But you and I can see it in
Yeah.
like right away
Yeah.
and be like, and that's fucking bullshit,
Yeah.
right? And then you see all these people in a crowd fucking eating it
Eating
up.
it.
And
I'm
you're
like, oh
God
my God.
damn it,
But
stop
that lets
it.
you know there's somebody for everybody, because like, how are you guys buying this guy's shit? Dude?
Yeah, like, oh
Yeah.
man, if you knew who he fucking
Yeah.
was, holy cow.
And they might hate us. They might be like, oh, well, you know. I'm like,
But the
that's
difference
cool.
is I'm cool with
Yeah,
that now.
yeah. I'm cool with being hated,
Like
for the right
cool.
reasons.
Yeah, for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to be, and that's why I struggle with that section.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be hated for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I don't want to be hated for something that somebody makes up based on the context of how they read it.
Sure.
I want to be, if somebody wants to dislike me or not align with me because of what I believe in, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm totally okay with that. I do have a problem with being misunderstood. I think, and maybe that's something I need to let go of as well. But I think the being misunderstood part does bother. I'm literally having an epiphany right now.
Yeah.
That like, that is what actually bothers me, is being misunderstood, because like I genuinely do know and believe, more than believe, I know that I'm a good human and that I care about other people. Right. And when somebody challenges that and misunderstands me because of how I speak or the words that I say, that apparently those words weren't made by their God. I don't know, right? Like I can't quite figure that one out either. But because they don't align with that, and so now I'm bad because of it.
Sure.
The misunderstanding part of it, I think, is what really, that's the only time I get fired up. And then I'll calm myself down quicker than I used to, like we were talking about before. But when I get misunderstood like that, that's when I do get I get upset, I get sad. Like I do. I think I have a moment of sad, and I that one bothers me a little bit.
I like that.
Does that?
Yeah. So, well, a couple things that come to mind as you're saying that is, it's probably difficult to attach yourself to how somebody receives, like even the original draft of those 2 paragraphs, to play it forward enough to say, man, somebody might misconstrue this and then not finish the book or have a different opinion of me when I'm actually trying to say this. That's going to be heavy forever, because then you're literally walking around like kind of trying to, you're kind of relying on someone's ability to perceive the way you're trying to push the message.
Correct.
Which I know you don't. I think that's where you would catch yourself, is what I'm saying. You're like, well, I have no fucking control over it. Because to me, how they receive it is just where they're at, again, in their level or their journey or what they're dealing with even that day.
But did I do the best job that I could to make sure that they could
clear?
hear it?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. The biggest thing that stood out to me, and I wanted to ask you this real quick, and I know we probably should go someday, but
I don't have dinner till 6:45.
when were you able to say out loud, I know I'm a good fucking dude. Like, I'm a good human being. Because I live and die by that, because I just know who I am. Like, there's no way. Like, when a judge stood up and said what he said, when people write a hit piece on me, it's like, it doesn't hurt like it maybe once did. And I'm trying to think of when my day was, because I just know, like, I'm just not a bad, like, I fucking help everybody. I'm sure I've got tons of weaknesses or areas, or I'm shitty sometimes. But genuinely, I'm a good dude, and there's no fucking human that can convince me otherwise. So because you said it powerfully, you went from I believe to, you know what, I fucking know I am.
Yeah.
I can't put a date on mine, but I'm very passionate about that too, where it's like, there's nothing you can say, homeboy. Like, there's nothing you can say to
No, I think it's because I truly know who I am now.
Yeah.
And I lived so much of my life not knowing who I was, living in that darkness that I lived in for so long.
So that's something I want for everybody I come into contact with, especially in a long term, like whether it's a client or just a long term friend. How would we get more people to that level of like, I fucking know who I am?
Ownership.
Yeah.
Ownership of every single mistake that you made, and trying to right all of those wrongs. That's the crux of AA.
Yeah.
Right. That's step 6, 5, and 4 and 5 and 8 and 9.
Okay.
It's writing an inventory of every fucking horrible thing that you did in your life, writing it down, telling it to another human, and then going and apologizing to the people that you harmed and asking that there's anything else that they can do to make it better.
Nice.
Right. Like, and those are the two hardest things to do in the world. Right. But owning your shit. If you make a mistake, own your part in it and not worry about your part in it.
Yep.
Right. If I did something wrong, if I wronged you in a way, but I can still come up with, but fucking Nick did this and Nick said that and
that's
Nick
not
did
full ownership.
this.
Yeah.
That's not ownership. It's okay. Maybe Nick was a cocksucker at one point, but what did I do?
Yep.
How did I react? How did I participate in this thing? Own it. Apologize for it, and then if you choose to continue being a cunt and not, then that's a you problem at this point, right? I'm going to own mine, and if I own it, just like the story that I was saying with my daughter, the lesson to her was, you fucked up, you shouldn't have said that. Now own your mistake. You can't change how they feel
react,
about you, but you can control how you feel about yourself and the action that you take now in what you say to them, and that's all you can do.
All you can control.
That's all you can do.
But the more you do that, the more you fully recognize self, and then you're bulletproof. You really are.
When you own your own shit and you're not lying, the world is your fucking oyster.
When I try to tell people the whole like truth will set you free, like how liberating it is insane. Because like again, you could line up 100 people and 99 might say that guy's a shithead. And I'm okay with that because A, I know who I am, and B, like I have no skeletons, dude. Like, and I feel bad for the people that walk around and pray that something doesn't happen or get out. Or
I've got a clip on a keynote that I did, one of the very first ones that I got to do at Door to Door Con, and Sam gave me my first opportunity to be on a stage, and there's a clip on my website somewhere that Lexi put together, and I'm standing up there and I said, look, you are going to meet a ton of people that say, I don't fucking like that guy. You're going to meet a ton of people, but you're never going to meet somebody that says that guy's full of shit.
Yeah, fake football. Yeah, exactly.
You're not going to.
Yeah.
But you're going to meet a ton of people like, I don't fucking like him.
Yeah.
Cool.
But
you're not going to say
real
I'm full of
recognizes
shit.
real. Yeah.
Not going to say I'm full of shit.
Yeah.
And I take that, and to me, that's a compliment.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the biggest win.
And I love that. For me, I'm cool with that. And if I can teach my daughter that, like if that's one of the biggest lessons that I can teach her as she grows up is just to own her shit, own her mistakes, and not worry about everybody else's, because everybody else is going to continue to fuck up, and we cannot change them as much as we want to. We can't.
No.
But we can control and we can change how we operate and how we show up.
Yeah.
And so we are always going to show up as truthful, honest, own our fucking bullshit, and apologize if we fuck up. Which again, I understand is really hard for women to apologize.
Sure.
But I'm working on that with her. But like, if we can do that though, that completely changes your world.
Yeah. We have on our bracelet 3 major sayings, but the main one is show up different, because the more you show up different, you have no control over everybody. But if you continue to show up different, at some point you will force others to show up different.
Yep.
Or excommunicate them, which is also a win. And so to your point, once you're walking in, like, my core values are written on the back of this thing. And the first one is truth, integrity, leadership, service of others, and work ethic. But like when you show up in your truth, I'm telling you, I alienated a lot of people, because it forces them to hold up the mirror and say, where am I hiding shit? This guy's shining a bright ass light. I don't want to be around this motherfucker. And that happened a lot. And it hurt for a while. And like I said, I really felt bad because it alienated my wife. I was like, you're married to a guy that's about to walk this path that a lot of people are going to have comments about.
And she stayed.
Yeah. Oh, dude, she's the most powerful human being on the planet Earth.
That's amazing.
Because she gets asked that all the time. Why? I cheated on her for 17 years.
Yeah.
17. And I was a serial monogamist, which is actually worse. That's my sentence. I didn't have one night. I've never had one night stand in my life. All my relationships were like 6, 7, 8, 9 months. which means courting and the cute pillow talk and the buying them shit. Like these were all like, and that, if you ask any girl, because we've now walked a lot of couples through infidelity as a result of our story, but when you ask the wife what's worse, she can almost comprehend a one night stand where maybe alcohol was involved. That's some like animalistic Discovery Channel shit. Yeah. But when you are courting and like some girl was actually getting the best version of me, because I've been with my wife now 15 years, or not, we're at 28 now, but at the time, somebody else is getting like, first date Nick, second date Nick, everything's clean, fucking house is, the car is spotless, I'm paying for shit. They're getting that, courtship.
Yeah.
And my wife's not. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is that emotional part of the cheating was way harder for her to process than like Nick is just a horny asshole.
Right.
Yeah.
Have I met your wife?
I don't think so.
Oh, when I did briefly was at Bubba's funeral.
Oh, that's right. The dinner. The dinner
really,
afterwards.
Really briefly.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, she's a gangster. We've been together 28 years.
That's super cool.
And she's like, even again, when we go through with the stuff I was explaining before the call, like, or we whatever, like, it's just, I feel horrible for all the shit that I put her through.
This moment, this is going to sound really weird.
Yeah.
It came up and like, it's like in my stomach. I can feel things in my body right now. I had this overwhelming like state of gratitude, but the gratitude was like for you, because I could see when you spoke how you're in this different place, and I could like truly like see it and feel it. And I don't know why, I just had this really like overwhelming state of gratitude for you and how happy I was for you, because I can envision where you were, and to be able to be where you are and to have a partner that meets you where you're at. Yeah. Like, I don't know why. Like, we're not that close, right?
Sure.
I mean, hopefully we become close, but like, I just had this overwhelming, like, I was really, really happy for you right now.
That's awesome.
So anyway, take that.
See, no, that's why I'm going to prove I get to win here. You're an empath. You're a fucking empath, because I emote because I am an empath, right? And I think this is why we do well from stage, whether you know how good you are or not. Because somebody else in the audience, whatever they're going through, or maybe they've been through a version of it, or they need to just hear it, it's so relatable that they have a visceral fucking reaction.
Yeah.
And those are empaths. And those are the people you attract, 100%.
Yeah.